not gonna make this video too long. Real quick, just wanted to make this video because today has been interesting, and it's only 11:53 in the morning. But let me tell you why. So basically, what just happened was I was at an auto shop. I had to drop my car off so they could see what's going on with it and let me know. So I winded up having to get a Lyft back home because they said it would take hours for them to get to it. Mind you, I didn't even know before I got there. The way they sounded on the phone was like as if they would be able to just, tackle it as soon as I get there. They didn't say anything about dropping it off. They didn't say that, it'd be hours before they get to my car once I get there, nothing like that. Mind you, I also had an appointment made for today. There was no time established, but I had an appointment made for today that I had set before the weekend. It's Monday. It was Thursday, I think I had this appointment set. So I called this morning when I woke up and asked them, like, hey, I just told them, like, hey, I had an appointment today, whoop, but there wasn't a time established. Would I be able to, if I come in right now, would you guys be able to look at it? Would you guys be able to check it out? Honest to God, the dude on the phone said yeah. So I told him, all right, I'll be on my way. I get there, and then this guy comes out and he's like, yeah, you spoke to Wooty Whoop on the phone about 20 minutes ago, right? I'm like, yeah, yada yada. And then he says, they gotta install a transmission in somebody's car and some other stuff, so it'll be hours, probably about 3 hours before they can even look at it. So that's why I went ahead and got a Lyft. So this is where it gets pretty interesting, right? And there's a long story about the whole car situation that I'm gonna get into probably in another video. So basically, I ended up getting the Lyft, and the guy that picked me up, bro, I'm telling you, it felt like when I was talking to him on the way back to the crib, it seemed like I was speaking to like a future version of myself. It felt like he told me he's 48 years old. It felt like I was talking to the older me, basically, because at first, like when I get in the whip, I'm just like, hey, how you doing? He's like, I'm doing good. How are you? I'm like, I'm doing all right. Whoop whoop. And he asked me, what's going on with your car? And I told him what was going on. And he was like, yeah, man, I know how I feel not to have a car, and don't nobody want to give you a ride, and whoopty whoop. And he was going on about how, like, whenever he had a car, everybody want to ride, but when he needed one, nobody could give him a ride. And then I don't know how we got on this, but he was just like, I could tell you a good dude. He was like, I could tell you a good dude. And he was like, you spoke to me first, say, hey, how you doing? And some other stuff, I think. And then I was just like nodding my head yes, and I'm just like, I'm listening. And then he was like, yeah, I could tell, like, I could just tell, like, you're not fake, you're genuine. And I'm like, yeah, you can definitely I don't know how we got on. Bro, I don't remember the whole entire conversation. Like, I don't remember everything that we said. So I don't know how we transitioned from one thing to another exactly, but I'm just trying to remember everything as best as I can. So somehow, we went from that to me saying, like, yeah, when you grow up in a certain environment, or when you grow up a certain way, when you raise a certain way, you can pick up on everybody's energies and things like that, like just like that, like really quick. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much instant. Effortless too. While at it, like, it's effortless. So he was like, yeah, like, I could tell, like, in the tone of your voice, like, you real genuine. You a good guy. Whoopty whoop. And I was like, yeah, you know what? And it's crazy. you know, what you were saying is true, because like it seemed like everybody that always is putting other people first is the ones that get effed over. You know what I'm saying? It's the ones that's always getting effed over. You know? And he went on about like how, like, you know, growing up and stuff, he would help people out with stuff, and they wouldn't ever help him out in that same way because they was scary, or well, I'm sure you can like put two and two together. I'm sure he was talking probably about like, you know, getting into fights and stuff. Maybe, I don't know, but that's just what I assume. He could have been talking about some other things, but hey, he was like, yeah, I help other people out all the time, and you know, they would never help me out, and there's ways that I help people out that they would never help me, and so I'm like, yeah, you know, it's crazy, but that's true. But it is what it is. It is what it is, and you know, that also plays a part into, you know, why we're the way that we are. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he was going on about how, like, you know, yeah, you know, people like us, you know, we're real genuine and caring and nice people, but when you fuck with us, it's like it's hell. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, definitely. You know, like it's because of all of that, you know, suppressed rage. We got so much unreleased rage because we know how to control our anger, but once you tip us off, like, you know, then it's like a nuclear bomb. You know what I'm saying? And y'all have seen it. Like, y'all have seen it, and on my previous channels before, you know, like y'all have seen it. You know, y'all see how I get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't be going for nothing, but I'm a very genuine and caring and friendly person. If I like you, you know what I'm saying? If you a stranger, I'm gonna be nice to you. If you're a stranger, if I don't know you from a can of paint, like, I'm gonna be nice to you off the rip. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna treat you poorly just because I don't know you. You know, the only way I'm gonna disrespect you intentionally, dog you out, or want to fight you or something like that, is if you do something to me. You know what I'm saying? And you can do something to me, and I'm not even gonna react in like a negative way every time. It just takes a certain type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a line that you just don't cross, and once you cross that line, it's raps. And again, y'all have seen it. The ones that's been here for all these years, watching my content throughout all these channels, y'all have seen it. Like, I don't fuck around. You know what I'm saying? I don't fuck around. I've looked out for people. I've given people money when I was broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done a lot for people. You know what I'm saying? That, and I don't do it to get some, you know, in return. But I just do it because it feels good to give. It feels good to help people out. So, you know, we talking about that, and he told me, he was like, and yeah, you know, people would think you crazy, and that's why you can't even blah blah blah. And you know, people think I'm crazy because like I can predict stuff and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm same way. I'm the same way. I can predict stuff too. You know what I'm saying? I've done it numerous times. You know what I'm saying? I've done it numerous times. Like I was telling them that's how I got into, like, you know, that's how we transitioned over into me talking about how everything is connected with numbers. So I was just telling him, like, you know how God created everything off of mathematics, right? And he's agreeing with me, and I'm telling him like man, just look everywhere, like biology, engineering, you know, design, even nature, you know, everything is built off of mathematics. So that's how I had got into telling him about gematria, and I just told him, like, I didn't get deep into it. I just told him, like, very briefly, like, it's just you applying a numerical value to letters and phrases, you know, words and phrases and things like that, and you make the connections, and you can see that everything is connected by the numbers, right? So I told him about that, and then I told him how me and J with Open Eyes 4 has a YouTube channel, and we've been making content about esoteric stuff for years, and we've gotten our channels terminated. And then I told him about how we predicted that something would happen 47 days prior to the 47th election, the 47th presidential election. Like, we knew something would happen. And so I told him, like, you know, 47 days prior to the 47th presidential election, the 47th district court judge in Kentucky was shot and killed by a freaking cop. I think it might have been a sheriff. I don't even know if my memory's correct, but he got shot and killed by a cop in his own courthouse 47 days prior, and then he was the 47th district court judge. Like, what are the odds of that? So, you know, I told him about that, and then I told him, like, look, man, like, you know, check out my channel. Like, if you want, you know, I've had my channel terminated numerous times because of, you know, the things I talk about with you. So he gave me his number, and then I texted him a YouTube link, and, you know, told him, like, thank you for the ride, whoop. I appreciate it. I appreciate the conversation. Dapped him up, and that was that. But I just wanted to make this video because, you know, that right there is just proof within itself that everything happens for a reason, and we're all connected by numbers. He's telling me about how he's looked out for people and they did him dirty. He's telling me about how when he needed people weren't people weren't there for him, but he was there for them. He's telling me how he's predicted things and people think he's crazy, all this. That describes me. So, you know, in a sense, it's like I'm talking to myself, you know what I'm saying? Because everything he's saying, I'm agreeing with, and I feel the same way, and I've been through the same type of shit. So, you know, and he was black, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, like, it really felt like I was just talking to, it didn't hit me till like after, till like once I got into the house, then I'm like, it felt like I was talking to myself in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like my future self type shit. Not like my future self, like that's who I'm gonna be, obviously, but like it felt like I was talking to myself, but like in another body, and it just so happened to be a 48-year-old black man, you know what I'm saying? Just because the things we were talking about. And we agreed with each other on everything, you know. But that within itself, like that proves that everything happens for a reason, right? Because anybody else could have picked me up, you know what I'm saying? I could have got picked up by some rando goofball, some goof troop, some cornball, or somebody that just don't talk, or some, you know what I'm saying, some weirdo or something like that, or, you know what I'm saying, and it would have been a completely different ride, you know what I'm saying? I could have got picked up by somebody and not even had a conversation the entire ride home, you know what I'm saying? But the whole ride home, I had a conversation with this dude, and we were, you know, having a good discussion, and time flew by like that. Like it was like 1 minute I got picked up from the auto shop, and then the next minute I was at the house, you know. So there's that. But yeah, man. So if the guy who I was just talking about is watching this video, again, thank you for the conversation. I appreciate that. And you know, people like you give me hope for this world, because a lot of times people like us feel like we're alone. A lot of times we feel like there's nobody like us even around us, like in our area, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it be feeling like, because you do what you do, and then you had these thoughts and all this stuff with the whoop, and you get no support, and then you know, you got all these ideas and things like that, and you get no support, and then whenever you do reach out to people, they ghost you, and then whenever you do open up to people and tell them about the things you know and stuff like that, people think that you crazy, and they start treating you weird and stuff. So it's like, you know, you feel like you in a box, or not in a box, but it feel like you it kind of feel like you like on an island, you know what I'm saying? Like you away from everybody. I don't want to say a box, because that like implies that you're trapped inside of something, but you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like you on an island. You can still get off the island. You just take a boat, you know what I'm saying, or a helicopter, my nigga, or take a bridge. You feel me? But yeah, so like it just, you know, I don't know. It was like it was a great conversation, but it was definitely like a reminder that one, you're not alone, and two, everything happens for a reason, you know. And then even on my way to the auto shop, I looked over to the right one time. I'm on the interstate. I'm driving off a service drive. I mean, so it's all these houses like right on the side of the street. Bro, I looked over to the right one time, and it just so happens it was a freaking address for 440055. I'm like, it don't surprise me, you know what I'm saying? Because these things happen all the time where I'm driving and I look over one time, and it just so happens to be an address that says 444 or 4444 or 404 or 44 something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens often, bro. Often. often. So there's that. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know if you've had any similar experiences. And yeah, man, leave a like, subscribe, and peace. I'm out.